Yo, what's up guys? Another Mellia video GB12. Did not really expect to make this one, but I got some reactions on talking about making this team faster in the previous video. And there was actually one person that mentioned like, okay, this is the team that is put out there by the guy that also made the Triple Ikaru team. Not necessarily sure if he made it or he just posted it, and he said it would be faster than my current team. So I was a little bit skeptical, like, is it actually faster? Because it's literally the same team, just a different build, and you actually base it on that it's slower but more consistent, so you have the similar times more often rather than sometimes 20 seconds, sometimes like 1 minute 30 or something. So that's kind of what this team is based on. This is my old setup, so I'm also going to show my old setup, and I do what I usually do. I tested 250 runs of the old setup versus the new setup. So yeah, okay, so that took like 3 hours for each. Kind of, but we got a conclusion. But let's first talk about the old setup. What does it do? How did it work? So to start off, I had a Lushen which was clearing the waves with only just 2 fight sets in the team, which looked something like this, and it was plus 100 speed, and therefore it could lap the crystals but not the golems, which adds some like additional how do you call it, additional consistency to it. Then we had the Sath. Sath was violent with shield. Then we have Mellia, which was violent plus fight. Then we had another Mellia, violent plus shield. And then we had the Tatu, which was also violent plus fight. People will be like, oh, you have to use will runes, is better. I actually tested will runes versus vial runes in this case, and actually vial runes did give me a better result than that. But I started testing this new setup. But first, let me show you what is the average with this on 250 runs. So yeah, I blurred out the new setup for now. I did explain the new setup here already, but this is the old setup. Old setup, as you can see, these are all like averages of 10, which means we have a total average of 43.15 seconds. We didn't have any fills, and it took about like 3 hours, a little bit less than 3 hours. So the old setup is based on Lushen, one-shotting the wave, everything on Vio, two shield sets, 2 fight sets, and then this is the new setup. The new setup, I'll paste it next to it as well, and I'll show you a few runs. So the idea is you have Lushen with Swift Blade, 120 speed. You have a Mellia that is double will plus shield with 167 speed. And then one Mellia double fight will, which is really low on speed and therefore also gets outsped by everything. Sath that is just faster than all of the units in the dungeon at 64. And then a Tatu, which is pretty much no speed and therefore has a will set and double fight as well. So the turn order would be first Mellia, Lushen, Sath, first Mellia again, second Mellia, and then Lushen, and then Tatu. Let's see an actual fight. So we have Mellia moving first, does nothing. We have Lushen, derps, okay, but he has a second chance of amputation magic, and that's the key of this team, that you can do an amputation magic on the second run. So you have 2 dots here. We have 4 dots right now. It moves already, doesn't matter. We have enough dots, incinerate, and we clear the wave. So here, amputation magic straight off, cool. And then here we go for a 1 dot, 2 dots, 4 dots, 5 dots, should have been 6, and we kill. So that's the idea of this team, that therefore you can, it's more consistent. So you cannot get 20-second runs on this. You can, the fastest run I've seen is about 29-ish seconds. Don't have enough runes, but whatever. So the fastest run I can get is about 29 seconds. The slowest run someone told me would be like 45 seconds, which is not really true, because the moment you Lushen derps twice, you start missing a bunch of dots in this stage, then it can actually get a lot worse than 45 seconds. However, it is still pretty freaking fast on average, because Lushen always has like the double chance to do his stuff, and it adds a lot more consistency to the run itself. So besides that, we can look at this like for another hour. We can also just go into the statistics. Let's see what this actually pulls out. So as you can see, with the new setup, we have a lot of runs that are like 36, 41, 44, 39, 35 even a 31, which is pretty much like a consistent run like throughout all except for one, I guess. And as you can see, we are 39.92 seconds, which is a decent improvement. That's actually a decent improvement. Let's compare that. We are 3.23 seconds faster on average, which means for a set of 10, you run it in 13 minutes faster, and that's about an 8% increase in time. Then your question to me might be is like, should I actually run this? Is it easy to run? Is it actually needed to run this? On all of these questions, the answer is pretty much no. If you have a consistent team already, you're happy with it, you don't have to change anything. Definitely not. But this is for the people that are like, okay, I would like to speed up my runs. I have enough crystals I can farm through the day, or I'd rather have like get rid of my crystals faster so I can just turn off my phone, do something else. So depending on what you like, this is actually a decent upgrade, and I think it's fairly doable to get these units at these stats. I'll show my exact stats in a second. You have to have Lushen to one-shot the wave on a 120 speed set, which is a little bit difficult, but if I'm not mistaken, you have to do somewhere around like 26.2k damage, which is the max HP of those units. They have a reduction for like their passive, if I'm not mistaken. But it's very doable because you have 7 sets of fight. That makes it pretty doable. Then for the first Mellia, might be a little bit difficult to get like the double Will+Shield at a 167 at least. That could be an issue. Like those are the two trouble points, but you could also just go Swift Shield. The only issue is she could get stunned in the middle wave, but still she's wind against water, so she doesn't get stunned that often, so it's not that big a deal if you don't have double will, but you have Shield Swift here. It might be a little bit inconsistent, but as you can see, for both of them, I didn't have any fails with any of these runs, and I had some that were getting like kind of close-ish, so I think it might fail, but probably fails 1 in 1,000 or something, at least with my runes, my setup. So let's actually look at the runes itself. So on the background, you have seen like another double run of not having enough space, but again, it's like twice like 34 seconds. Let's look at the actual runes. So to start off with the Lushen is a bit of an overkill because you need to do about like 26 point something K, which is around like what, 8k, 8.3k per hit, a little bit more, I guess. This Lushen, if I'm not mistaken, does about 10k after checking all of the runes. I'll verify that. So yeah, this Lushen, what really helps out if you have water like damage artifacts, that helps out really a lot. And then for this one, you just want to get crit damage slot 3, but also additional damage from attack helps, but also additional damage from speed helps for this one. So just in case you guys are curious for the individual runes, the blade runes are pretty good on it. The other runes are not that crazy. Okay, this one is decent, but it doesn't even have crit rate. So it's also, it has 42 attack, but it's just one stat that's a lot. The rest of the stats is not that much. So that's about it for the Lushen. Then we have the first Mellia. First Mellia is double will plus shield. And yeah, I have some fast shield sets and some decent sets that I can even get away with not having slot 6 Aki. I have slot 6 HP. Most of you will probably have to have a slot 6 Aki to get this kind of speed and have enough accuracy, because you actually want to have 85 accuracy. But say you're not 85 accuracy. Yes sir, I am, because I only care about 85 accuracy on skill 3, not the other two skills too much, but also they still have kind of. And then for this one, you just want reduction from water, which is kind of odd having wind reduction from water, but it helps out. Then we have the Sath, which is just, again, Aki slot 6, or just have max Aki. That's the most important thing. Reduction from water damage. This side, it doesn't even matter what you do. And it's just triple fight as tanky as possible and get around like the 64 speed that is necessary. Then we have the other Mellia, which is just +9 speed, which again is just, it's really trashy whatever runes that didn't have any speed, which were I was using. And again, reduction from, should be reduction from water, not reduction from wind. This is useless. Oh yeah, and you can add some extra damage from HP, but it doesn't matter too much, to be honest. Mellias don't do damage anyhow. Then finally we have the Tatu. Tatu that actually doesn't need to have accuracy, but it does help. Like the moment there's a derping session, her S1 still dots, her S2 still dots. So you do actually have some benefits from having higher accuracy on this one. So I might actually check for an artifact that adds some accuracy, mainly on the skill 2 and the skill 1. Skill 3 doesn't need any accuracy, so you could actually go lower accuracy on this one. And again, just make it tanky. I think I'll add some grinds here and there to make this one more tanky, but I just had to have runes that are a 0 speed, and I don't have those too many. So let me actually verify that my Lushen, how much he's overkilling on the Lushen that I have. How much damage do we do? We do 9k, so this one is overkilling by at least like 1.5k per hit. Let's actually look at the damage, because I was looking at the damage on the sides, but I have to look at the damage in the middle, of course, which is a little bit difficult to see, but it's a little bit... I'm hitting like 11k, close to 11k, I think. So I'm overkilling that thing by what, like 25% on my Lushen, which is pretty much an overkill. I don't care about that, but that's where you can see that it's pretty doable for other people to get as well. So this might happen with some derps, but Lushen still does the additional amount of damage. This kind of is also where it gets in, do you want Mellias on skill ups or not? Probably not in that case, but for having like smoother runs like throughout like the waves, if they kind of derp, then having some skill ups worse. But that's about the other video. Either how, that's it for this video. My internet is shitty. I hope I can upload this one. So yeah, I'll also leave the post of this guy and the description that I got from the other guys just in the description down below. So I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.